thanks for joining today. So today I'm going to show you how to make one of my family's favorite side dishes for holidays and gatherings, mushrooms oreganato. This is something that my dad taught me how to make when I was growing up. Our house was the holiday house. Everyone gathered at our house for the holidays. My dad was a great cook. So I will show you step by step how we're going to do this. You saw the ingredients at the beginning of the video. So I'm using about 2 pounds of mushrooms, and what I'm going to do, the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mushrooms and I'm going to parboil them just to give them a little softer consistency as I'm cooking, because once you start browning the onions and garlic and throw the mushrooms in, it goes very quickly and the mushrooms won't have time to really cook through. So we want them cooked through. We're going to parboil them. We're going to put them in hot water with a little salt, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so once your mushrooms are boiled, and the mushrooms will boil down to half of what you have. So if you have 2 pounds of mushrooms, the volume of the mushrooms is going to boil down to half of what you have. So keep that in mind when you are preparing for how many people you're going to have. You always want to take the mushrooms that are in bulk and fresh and just figure that it's going to be half of the volume of that. So we're going to use a flat pan that has some height to the sides of it so that the mushrooms are contained but they're not falling out of your pan. And we're going to preheat the pan a little bit and coat the bottom with olive oil. So we're going to be browning our mushrooms. You want to make sure that you have enough oil on the bottom of the pan for your onions. So I'm using a high-sided fry pan to saute my mushrooms in, but first I'm going to coat the bottom with olive oil, and I'm going to brown my onions in this. So you want to have enough olive oil that your onions will brown evenly. So my onions are almost brown. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit, let them brown a little bit more before I add my garlic. Now, it's up to you how much garlic you add. If you enjoy having garlic, then by all means put as much as you want. If you're not that fond of garlic, then you can put a little bit, but you do want to put some garlic in there. If you don't have fresh garlic, you can use garlic powder, but nothing takes the place of fresh garlic. And as you can see, I like garlic, so I'm going to put this is about 6 large cloves of garlic. Medium to large. And we're going to brown that. Now, as your onions are absorbing the olive oil, and they will, onions will absorb the oil, you might want to add a little more, because once we put our mushrooms in there, you're going to need, and then we're going to put breadcrumbs, so you're going to need enough olive oil in there that it's not totally dry. I added some more olive oil. And again, if you don't have olive oil, you could use vegetable oil. You could do a mixture of butter and oil, but you don't want to put just butter. First of all, the butter is going to burn, so anytime that you're browning anything in butter, you need to add a little oil, either vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil, so that your butter doesn't burn. I prefer when I'm making vegetables to use olive oil. You could hear that. I wish you could smell that. That's got that Sunday morning smell. I remember as a kid my dad would be making the sauce and you'd smell the onions and the garlic and you knew it was time to get up and go and help in the kitchen. We're going to let that get nice and brown. Okay, our onions and our garlic are nice and brown, and I'm going to add our mushrooms. Now, the mushrooms that you can use the white button mushrooms, creminis, baby bellas. I wouldn't go with portobello. They tend to be a little tougher and a little big. You'd have to really cut it up too much for this dish. So I think white button, cremini, baby bellas, those are probably your best bet. And we're going to brown these a little bit, but they're parboiled. Okay. So the breadcrumbs that you use, I suggest using Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, but I didn't have any, so I'm using Parmesan breadcrumbs. So it's plain breadcrumbs with Parmesan in it. And I'm going to season it myself. And I'm going to season with oregano. So we're going to throw some oregano in here. And this is Oreganato. And as you can see, I don't measure. I've never been taught to measure. It's just by taste. I'm going to put some dried basil in here. Not as much basil as the oregano. And then I'm going to put a nice generous portion of dried parsley flakes. If you have fresh parsley, that's even better. But I'm just using what I have in the house. And these are the kind of recipes that whatever you have on hand in the house, it's very easy to make. Okay, so now we're going to put in our breadcrumbs. And we're going to distribute them evenly. And just coat the top of your mushrooms. You don't want to put too much breadcrumbs in there. On top of the breadcrumbs, we're going to do some salt and black pepper. And this is all to taste, however you like it. If you like a lot of pepper, now we're going to start sauteing this so that the mushroom is brown. Again, you don't want to put too much breadcrumbs in there because then you lose the flavor of the mushrooms. And we mix them around so that what's on the bottom browns, and then turn it so that we get the top breadcrumbs and mushrooms onto the bottom of the pan. This is a very quick dish. Let's taste it to see what we're missing. That's good. You can hear it sizzling. I have this on high heat. I wish you could smell this, it's so good. And you can see the onions and mushrooms, everything's starting to caramelize as we're cooking it. Okay. Now, when this is all done, I'll show you what our secret ingredient is. And then it won't be a secret anymore, but that's okay. That's why we're sharing this. All right, so that's looking good. See, everything's starting to brown in there. So the more you can brown this without burning it, and this is a non-stick pan, so there's a really good chance that it's not going to burn. The more you can brown it, the better it's going to taste. All right, I think we're almost done. It looks so good. Okay, So when we're done, and you can see that it's a nice brown throughout, you don't have any white breadcrumbs left. Looks so good. Shut off the heat, and the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take our grated cheese. You could use grated Parmesan. This is Pecorino Romano. You could use Asiago, whatever cheese you really like in your side dishes. You know, if you're making artichokes or something like that on asparagus. And we're going to put a nice generous portion of grated cheese in there, and we're going to mix that in. Make sure it's mixed in well. And that's our secret ingredient. Because without the cheese, it's just not the same. And there we have it. So here are our mushrooms oreganato. This is a wonderful side dish. You see how quick it is. It really is no time at all. Probably takes more time to boil the mushrooms than anything else. I do my prep the day before if I'm having company. Today is actually Thanksgiving that I'm preparing this for. So last night I diced my onions, I crushed the garlic, I had everything ready, and mushrooms were sliced, and all I had to do was throw it all together today. This is literally a 20-minute dish you could do this in, and it's so easy, especially for a holiday like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, New Year's, when you have the family together and you don't want to spend the whole day cooking. Do your prep the night before and make quick and easy side dishes. You'll enjoy this. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll subscribe. Leave a note there in the comments. Let me know how you like the dish. And share this with your friends. Tell them about our channel. We'll be having wonderful recipes, crafts, travel, painting. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.